I'm Brian Mullahy. I do furniture, art, cabinets and tables, chairs. Doing it for a number of decades. I used to be young like this. I would like one piece. It's about the same, but it's a less checking unit. What do we got? 6 foot. Stuff like that. With maybe a butterfly up here or something to keep the checks. I think that's what we got to take.
All right.
No problem. I'm going to just do a few more drawings, refine what I have. I got to just lay out that flitch, and I haven't done that yet, and do some chalk marks on it to get a sense of what I might do at the top of it. A client that likes what he saw, but we agreed that we wouldn't make the same chair. Well, it gives me the opportunity to express my sense of design once again a little differently. Since it's a similar project of 6 chairs and a table, after doing the other one, things that to myself I said I would do differently. So this time I have an opportunity to refine on some of my thoughts there in changing designs. Working out maybe a little better proportion on certain relationship between stretcher and seat. I want to see a little more overhang this time and a little more freedom on the seat. The other was a little more constrained to the stretcher with close tolerances and overhang and everything. So, which was neat, clean, and so forth for that project. This will give a little freer on the seat shape too. The other was a little more straight lined and boxy. I'm going to do the seat a little curvier this time. Design is style. Style is usually historical mark somewhere, right? Art Nouveau, Deco. Arts and crafts was a style that emphasized the craft of it, the actual construction and joinery and so forth. That influences some of the stuff I see, but so does other shapes and other art, like Japanese and Celtic, and the lines you see in that and everything has always influenced how I see curves in furniture and so forth. Keeping all that in mind, I have to design for a budget too, so there's certain elements you stay away from because it may be too costly. A way to do it as much by machine before I get to any handwork. That just saves time, and especially when you got to do many pieces, because you put the effort into making a template or a jig or whatever. Then the 12 whatever pieces you got to make, you got it. You know, I like painting, and I look at painting and I see furniture. There was one fellow who saw a Van Gogh painting with the little, it would be called, I think it was a ladder back chair with a rush seat that was painted in one of Van Gogh's paintings, with perspective and all. And this guy made a ladder back chair with rush seat that looked exactly like the one in the Van Gogh painting. And there's some other people who have done similar things. They've made furniture depicted in paintings in history. And it was very interesting. I look a lot at, of course, at other woodworkers. I always look at furniture and see what people have done with proportion, how things have come together. I took into account the dining area that it's going to be sitting in. I mean, that's you got to do that anyway. The flitch, I mean, it's a big slab, and you know, it's expensive, and they charge quite a bit more than if you bought planks. So, in any species too. It's going to be a 2-inch flitch slab, approximately 6 feet long. I'm going to try to keep it 38 at its minimum, maybe a little wider, if I do it a little like that at the ends, and I'm going to have to inlay some butterflies to keep a couple of checks in place. The chair, there's got to be some curved parts to it. So I'm going to make them rather simple. I'm not going to do anything but straight stretchers, and on one plane the rear legs will be curved and the other plane they'll be straight. Although I'm actually considering a flare on the leg, so there will be, but it's something that can be done machine-wise. I haven't worked out the production technique, but it's a consideration in the final design. The front legs would all be straight cuts. Once the basic relation between the thickness of seat, stretchers, this will be a wood seat that'll sit on stretchers. It'll overlay the stretchers in proportion there, also with the thickness in relation to the appearance of the stretcher, how much mass the stretchers have. Of course, everything has to be done with enough strength for seating, but that's really not the issue here. It'll be plenty strong enough. It's balance of proportion. Seat top, how it sits and looks on the stretchers, and give some emphasis to the back of the chair that your back leans on. The panel with the crown of the chair would be a curved part, and the stretcher between the upright legs in the back that will take the panel between them will be curved as well, and then the panel pieces will have to have a gentle curve too. Everything will be drawn to full scale and worked out for a pattern, so that I got 6 chairs, so I need 12 back legs. So once I'll draw that out to full scale, make a pattern out of plywood, and start making some legs, do a test one to see that's what I want. High in the center. So I might be taking this down first here. This side looks pretty good. It's got a branch that grew through here that makes this gives it a little negative of using it as a top surface. And this check here, just take a look at the length of it. If I go to the max of the length that I'd like, which you're going to have to verify in their house, I got a little more check to deal with here, which means I might have to do a butterfly on that end there. Here, obviously, I got to do a series. I'm not sure how many I'm going to want to do there to help it from spreading, and also so the two of them don't move this way with each other. It helps bridge the two pieces. So now, on this side, which is higher on the outside, we put a little beam across it. You can see I got a good ½ inch, and there similarly. See, this appears to be going somewhat that way, so that on the ends have to come down. And likewise, so the two edges are reasonably parallel for rough cut. I got the widest width, about 37.5 inches, and I got 80 inches here. I was considering doing something following the edge, but since it's very tight and we want the function on it, it's going to be a rectangle. Probably going to do a slight undercut bevel on the edge. And that's my thinking with the size. From here, then I can go to my drawing board. It appears that I might have to have some kind of butterfly work on this end as well, but we'll see. How I do a series of them, I'm not sure. I'm going to work that out when I have to do it. Thick inlay. And that'll be determined after I flatten this plank, how much thickness I have in it. At least a couple of 100 years ago. we'd be doing it like this. It's a scrub plane. We're scrubbing the surface, trying to get it down. It's got like a gouge so it doesn't tear. Once you got everything kind of level, and you take a big joiner's plane and then you really true it up, you know, get it flat. It's getting better. Not too bad, not too shabby. I try to come at it long ways, diagonal, across, and so you get every vector on the plane, sort of, so you don't go off. That's looking pretty good this way. That I like. Now I just got to make sure I'm doing the same thing. Guess I got high here and high here, so I have to lower that a little. Kind of mark places where it might be a little high. Everything's looking pretty good, so if I keep on the way I'm taking it down, I'll be pretty good. This is easy, but taper those the way I want them, or flare them more properly. That. The rear surface, close the front and rear. Sap with the light wood where I can. Traditional. Now, because all the joinery is oriented off the inside surface, so that has to go to the table, and that will have to go to the table. Well, I have to, I got to taper these legs, rear legs, front legs, and cut my stretch, get all my stretcher blanks so I can get close to at least do a mock-up. I just want to make sure what I'm doing here is I want to cut the corresponding, this is the front leg and this is the rear leg. I have that, I want to cut the corresponding mortise. For this next joint, so I could actually assemble most of it, and this is the only joint I have to do. Then I can cut some tenons. It's close, okay. That's the only one I have to keep clamped, so I will. Let's see. since I'd like to do a crest that sits on top, I have to have this reduced. This is the square that would, as it's drawn, would represent the top of the leg. If I'm going to come across with a curved piece, so what I want to do is bring this down to about 1 inch by 1 inch. Yeah, well, that's more like in here anyway. So that when I have a piece coming across, it doesn't have to be quite as thick. I like the overall look of it. It's very bulky looking right now. It'll be thinned down, but I get the sense of the flare with the back legs. You know, I'll have that sense with the front legs more. This is sort of what you'll be seeing for the seat, of course, which will bring, that might be dropped down a little more. For my drawing, I actually widened up the back a little. And the reason I did this, I just wanted to get approximate dimensions of all the stretchers. This is the relationship I'm talking about. This is approximate thickness I have everything to now. When you do custom chair, every time, new design, you got to go through every process again. Yeah, it just, you know, see these will be a gentle curve to them. Same at the side, they'll come up with a gentle curve in the back. There's going to be more of a curve on the seats too. So this jig here, the ramp of the jig is it's a ramp. You can see these which are equal in width, parallel going up, but the bottom here of the jig is at an incline. And so what I did is they were in here, they sat in here, and I through the thickness planer, all held in. And you know, you just, and then flip them over, did the other, and that took care of tapering these legs. This was for the shorter ones, but I just and that's how I got the gentle curve that I wanted on the stretchers. I must take these pieces here, and I got to see what I can get from this one here. And this is getting 6-inch wide, which is more than I would need for each piece. And here, it seems I can get 3 6-inch, so I got 18 inches. 15. I got 25, and I need 24. So I have 1 to play with. grain is running that way, and this is going this way a little. And on a table saw, I will keep it this way as I push through. If I had it the other way and they came this way, it would bind on the blade and it could kick back. So this is what we do here. Look at the grain that's revealed. I just want to make sure that they're all in order. And I guess they are. So these will open up like so. So I got to glue these up next. Work those. Is have this follow that curve. Looks pretty decent. Alright, now it looks pretty decent. After I plane the edge, it's very difficult, you can tell. I mean, it goes right back in the same order. first thing I did is come in and flipped it over, did the underside again. And I just, a little while ago, flipped it back up this way, sanded it, put the coat on. And I did put a heavy coat. We'll see how this dries. What really is the distinction is in here. Here. That'll always be brighter. It's different grain.